come at you with another deck profile with Elves, and it's mono green with a splash of black for a couple cards. And it's a pretty interesting deck profile, and you pay 4 to play her unless your opponent controls a vampire, immortal, or a werewolf. And you pay 0 to play her. And then you can tap her to draw a card if you control 5 cards in your hand. And then that's about it. And when she flips, she can kill anything basically. At the end step, it dies. Like she targets anything at the end step. And that's about it. Interesting ruler, and usually most green decks side her, but this deck abuses her with this one with a couple cards.
In the deck, we play, typical green stuff. Poor Gretel. You play her she's a 2-drop. You play her, you never whiff, you flip a green stone. We also play 4 elf, basic green, mana ramp. For the elves, we play Elvish Exorcist. She's a pretty good 1-drop. 1 for 3/3. They play like a deck that plays additions. We can just tap it, destroy an addition. Here's another really good elf, Wise Man of Winds. She's probably the best 2-drop that you have for elves, besides like one other card that we're about to get to. But one of the issues is, well, not really an issue, but if you play her and you don't have an elf, she dies. But you're not really going to have an issue with that, so she's pretty good. One of the best cards in the deck, I think, is Guide of Heaven, which we play 3 of. She might look weak, but she's just a 2-drop. When we play her, we pay 1 green, and we can search the deck for any elf we want. So she's pretty good. She has a neat interaction with Christie, because we can tap her, reveal the top card, and if it's an elf, we add it to our hand. And Christie says if we have 5 cards in our hand, we can tap her and draw a card. So it's just a neat little interaction that you have with her. One of the other cards we play, Fina the Player. She's probably one of, if not the best card in the deck, because she comes out and she stops basic abilities.
4, right?
Yeah, we play 4. She stops the basic abilities, swiftness, haste, flying, all that stuff.
And pumps.
She doesn't stop, sadly, like activates and continuouses and enters and awakening, but she's still pretty good. If we have like multiples on the board, you'll have plus 800 for each elf. Sadly she doesn't buff herself because that would be too good, but she's what you would search out with a God of Heaven usually. So we play 4 of her. Another elf we play is Thief Sings. Thief Sings are good. They're just good. It's one of the better 3-drops. She can you can flash her in during combat if you really wanted to. Stop taking some damage. She taps for a mana. And yeah, she's just really good. That's all the green, the elves. We're gonna get on to the splash of black. Since we don't really have much of a win con, we need something to pump for damage. So we play 2 Mephistopheles. Mephistopheles is just good. It stops some red decks because if they target it with like a Thunder or a Flames of the Outer World, they take 500. It's a 1500 with flying, and it's just good. We need something to finish out the game, and this helps a lot. We have problems with decks that spit out a bunch of creatures, like small 1-drops with 200 and everything, so we play 2 Cinderella to take care of that. We'll usually have a board with about 2 to 3 creatures on it, so we can sack off all 3, or you can just sack off 2 to deal 2 to 600 in between there. It takes care of the small weenies that some decks play. That's it for the creatures. Here we get to the black splash for the spells. We play 4 Stoning to Death. Stoning to Death it takes care of a lot of the issues that we can't. Like, Cinderella can only take care of some, like the small creatures before you just don't have a board to do it. If you only have 3 creatures and your creatures are 1,000, you're really only realistically going to deal like 2-4 and then sack off Cinderella for 6. So Stoning to Death takes care of the big issues. Here we're going to get on to the basic green stuff that you should play in any green deck. 3 Cake Zone, really good. You got it counters stuff, 2-drop. If you have Gretel, you draw a card. It only counters spells, but we play 3 Zeeks to counter the monsters. You know, and plus you could pump things. You can shuffle their graveyard back if they play Necronomicon, so that's really good. And the other card we play is, since we play 3 Feasting, we play 2 Exceed. And Exceed counters any spell, and if we control Feasting, we draw a card. But it's not as good as Cake Zone or Zeeks because it costs 3. And often you don't really want to play 3 to play it. Cake Zone or Zeeks is better. And other than that, that's the deck profile.
And then we play stones.
Yeah, we play some stones. It's generic crap. You play blacks and 1 little red. Other than that, it's just generic.
And basic greens.
It's just basic greens.
Thanks for the profile, Jacob, and peace.